Alrighty, artists. So today you are going to be focusing on adding cool colored paint to your transparency. As you can see the example on the screen here, the warm colors are always going to be on the background of your artwork, and then you are going to use the cool colors for the actual transparency itself. So if you finished all your line work, pull up my workspace here. You should have a transparency with some nice Sharpie lines on it. That looks something like this. And what we're going to do is just remove the warm colored background. We don't need that for right now. And you will need your photo to reference while you are painting. And you're actually going to be painting on the back side of this and flipping it over. And then you will be able to see the color through the transparency. So once you are ready to get going painting, you are only going to be, like I said, working with cool colors. So you are starting with your primaries, red, yellow, and blue, to mix your cool colors. We know that blue is a cool color, so we're just going to add a little bit at a time here. Don't add too much paint. I think students are surprised most of the time at how far acrylic paint will go. So I would say like a dime or quarter size of paint is all you really need. To mix purple, we just need a little bit of red on here to mix with the blue. And then to make green, you just have to mix a little bit of yellow with your blue. So got red, yellow, and blue on there, just a little bit at a time. And if you're interested in making some colors lighter, you might just need a little bit of white here and there. So what I would recommend starting with is just a really tiny brush, and we're going to kind of work from the middle of the portrait outwards. So again, reminder to just make sure you flip over your painting before you start here. We don't want to be painting on the wrong side. What I'm going to start off with is the highlights, and obviously I need to pay attention to my photo to see which areas are lighter and which areas are darker. So I'm going to go in and do these white highlights, and I'm actually just going to do maybe not white, but like a mint green, something super light that's close to white, but not quite. So maybe just like a minty green. It's a little bit lighter. So to mix my green, I just added a little bit of blue and yellow here, and I only need a little bit of paint. I don't need a whole lot, so I'm just pulling a little bit aside and going in and adding that color super carefully with the brush. Because we're working in layers, you don't really have a whole lot of opportunity to blend and kind of build up your layers like you normally would with a painting. Because if I put something on top of this, it's not going to matter. I already have this light color down, and that is what I'm going to see when I flip it over. So if you keep adding more layers, you don't see it like you would in a normal painting. So again, I'm just going in, starting off with kind of my smaller areas in the middle and then working my way outward. You may want to do 2 coats if you can see through the transparency or through the paint still. So you can let it dry for a little bit and then come back to the area once it's dry. If you accidentally get a little bit of paint outside the lines, you can just use a wet paper towel to touch that up. And you get to choose what cool colors you want. You know, you could do the whole portrait in all shades of blue and just do some light blue, some medium, and dark tones in there. But I'm going to mix it up and do some green, some blue, some purple. And you could do it this way. You could think about where all of the lightest parts of the painting are first. So I could do the white of my eyes, and then start with my medium tones next and then move to my dark tones. So I'm going to make my eyes a pure white. And we can't use warm colors, so you're not using your red and yellow. The only reason I have that on my palette is to mix my purple and green. So just a reminder, we're only doing cool colors for this entire piece. We want really high contrast. So when you put this on top of your background, that's going to really pop against the warm background because you'll have only cool colors on there. And when I'm ready to move on to the next color, let's say I wanted to do the eyebrows, or maybe the mouth is kind of a light tone too. So I might mix like a light blue, always add a little bit of white